In today's news, with tourists breaching the quarantine, the new question is, are the penalties strict enough for breaching quarantine here in the BVI? And the BVI Health team has welcomed another team from Public Health England.
Old Government House Museum to reopen to the general public, and the VI Communal Association is holding a old-time Christmas. Dr. Harlan Vanterpool joined us live to talk all about it. All this and more when 284 News returns.
A pleasant 284 Media welcome to all of our viewers. It is Thursday, December 16th, 2020. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. It's always a pleasure. We are coming to you live and direct from our home, our paradise in Tortola, beautiful British Virgin Islands. Before we get into our newscast today, we have some news summary headlines that we want to touch on. COVID vaccines, of course, to arrive in late January, says the Honorable Health Minister. Cops need to be more assertive in clamping down on illegal scooter riders, says Communications Minister Kai Reimer. And funds to be allocated to beach restroom facility in Bruce Bay, which I know will come as great news to our beach lovers down
Absolutely.
there. And of course, BVI residents urged to report travelers who are leaving and breaching quarantine.
And speaking about quarantine, just across the region, a couple has been jailed in the Cayman Islands for breaching Miss Skylar Mack, 18 years old, who is a medical student in the U.S., and a local competitive jet ski rider, Vanji Vijay Ramji, 24 years old, have both been sent to jail for 4 months for breaching the mandatory quarantine rules in the Cayman Islands. Now, according to the Office of the DPP, Mack arrived in the Cayman Islands on November 27th and was required to undergo a mandatory 14-day quarantine in residence per Caymanian COVID suppression guidelines. On November 29th, however, she left her residence and removed her geofencing bracelet, which of course tracks her location, in order to watch Ramjeet compete in a jet ski event. Both individuals' viewers are said to have interacted with members of the public at the event for more than 7 hours without social distancing or even wearing masks. Now, Ron, the Cayman Islands, as we see here, is sending a very clear message to persons who deem to breach that quarantine. But I think bringing us back to a situation that we're facing right here in the BVI, we do know of a situation where tourists would have breached the quarantine, and based on the laws that were established here, the fees is just about $1,000. Now, with the scare, a lot of persons are now questioning whether that is enough. So lots of questions surfacing in the community. We'd just like to quote a few. Firstly, how did these tourists manage to breach the quarantine while wearing tracking devices mandated by our government? Does this mean that the devices are not working effectively? Could it be that the devices are not efficiently managed by our local health teams? Was it a case where the devices were illegally removed by the tourists? And regarding the fine, is a $1,000 breach fine enough to deter persons from doing the wrong thing? Well, I think we are at a juncture where it's really important for us to really look at our guidelines and revisit, if necessary, to increase those penalties. And of course, viewers, these questions were posed to the Honorable Minister for Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, but up to press time, he is yet to respond to those queries.
Jovan, these are warranted questions by viewers, and we see where recently the Honorable Premier, Leader of Government Business, spoke about increasing the fines to some $20,000, and I think it begs to answer your question on whether or not the $1,000 fine is enough to deter, because what we do understand, and I want persons to understand, is that in this transition, we really, as a territory, and perhaps specifically to the government, it is prudent that they think of all that could go wrong.
Absolutely.
And in that, we're thinking if persons can breach the curfew, the quarantine, they will absolutely do that. So when that happens, what is the ramifications?
Absolutely. Thinking ahead. Now, viewers, we're going to head straight into our newscast for today. Good news. The Ministry of Health and Social Development and the BVI Health Services Authority this week welcomed a team of experts from Public Health England, that is PHE, to provide technical support and advice on key health initiatives. Now, according to the Minister for Health and Social Development, Honorable Carvin Malone, the government of the Virgin Islands, through the ministry, invited the PHE team consisting of public health experts and epidemiologists. The governor's office is facilitating the visit. Now, Minister Malone said, and I quote, "The purpose of the visit is for the BVI health officials and PHE to jointly assess the territory's tracing system, laboratory testing capability, and emergency preparedness with regards to COVID-19, end of quote. Now, while also in the territory, the health experts will provide technical assistance in vector control, food and water safety, communicable diseases, surveillance, and laboratory accreditation, in addition to any specific assistance required with pandemic management. The PHE team arrived in the Virgin Islands on Monday, December 14th, and will stay in the Virgin Islands for at least 1 week prior to entry. And during their stay, they will be subject to a COVID-19, of course, all of our entry protocols agreed with the Ministry of Health, which includes the same testing regime as anyone entering the territory. Honorable Malone further said, and I quote once again, "The ministry looks forward to working collaboratively with the PHE and the BVI Health Services Authority to ensure a successful and fruitful mission." Now, viewers, His Excellency the Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert said, and I quote, "I am pleased to welcome colleagues from the UK to the BVI, and I hope this will be a fruitful visit for both teams. This visit comes at a critical time for the territory as we reopen and learn to live alongside the threat of COVID-19. Our health teams have done a fantastic job to date, and I hope that they can continue to receive any support required from the UK." Now, the team consists of Dr. Otilla Newton, PHE Consultant, Communicable Disease Control, and Ms. Helen Green, Public Health Consultant. The Ministry of Health and Social Development has had a very close working relationship with the Public Health, of course, England for decades. This collaborative support has been even more cemented through this COVID-19 pandemic. Ron, of course, all about enhancing our capabilities here in the BVI. And I think it's timely and I think much needed at this time.
I could not agree with you more. Now, continuing on the local scene, great news. The Old Government House Museum is ready to reopen to the general public following 3 years of renovations. Now, this was announced in a Government Information Services release. His Excellency, the Governor of the Virgin Islands, Augustus J.U. Jaspert, in a ceremony last week, said he was thrilled to see the completion of renovations to the first floor of the very historic Governor's Residence building. Jaspert said, and I quote, "I know a huge amount of hard work and perseverance has gone into this reopening, and I am very grateful to all of the individuals who have made this possible." The governor went on to extend particular thanks to the Old Government House Museum board members, which he said generated incredible community support and voluntary funding to restore the museum at no cost to the government of the Virgin Islands. Minister for Natural Resources, Labor and Immigration, the Honorable Vincent Wheatley, represented Premier and Leader of Government Business, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy, at the ceremony and added his thanks to the National Parks Trust for their work on the gardens surrounding the building now, and to this voluntary organizations, of course, students and individuals who worked tirelessly to raise funds and restore the museum to its statue as a historical and cultural attraction. He said, and I quote, "I am so glad this building is back and grateful to these who had the presence of mind and the wisdom to turn it into a museum." Honorable Wheatley added, it's been such a great success story as part of the tourism product. Museum board member Ms. Ermin Penn shared some of the history of the museum, which welcomed visitors daily from 2002 to 2017. Ms. Penn said, and I quote, "We are very pleased at this time to offer the first floor with a history of the house and information about the forts in the territory." She continued by saying other items on display, such as a mural and historic photos, give a sense of what Road Harbor was like before the extensive land reclamation began in 1966. This historic residence turned cultural attraction contains a wide variety of items, historical significance, including photographs, journals, and antique furniture dating back to the 1980s. The board hopes to continue the restoration on, of course, the second floor of the building in the near future. Reverend Dr. Ian Charles of the St. George's Anglican Episcopal Church, which will be reopening shortly to the public, was blessing the service, and the facility, will be open to the public very shortly from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be available for bookings and private functions on weekends and evenings. Now, for more information for the history lovers and those who are very cognizant of our history and heritage, if you have any questions, including details on how members of the public can support the Museum of the Public, you can do so by visiting oghm.org. That's oghm.org. Great news. I know that museum has been down for a number of years, and we're happy to see it finally come back on stream.
Absolutely, and taking us for a walk through history, not only for our locals, but our incoming tourists as well. Viewers, still ahead, Bermuda swears in its first female black governor, as well as we are live with Mr. Vanterpool, Dr. Vanterpool, that is, of the VI Communal Association. All that and so much more when 284 News returns.
The win! Oh!
What the hell?
I'm freaking out!
Is time.
284 News
coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the
Viewers, welcome back. You're watching 284 News. It is Christmas in the British Virgin Islands, and we are so grateful to be experiencing and celebrating not only Christmas, but a cultural and heritage experience. Joining me today from the VI Communal Association is Vice President of the Association, Dr. Harlan Vanterpool. Dr. Vanterpool, welcome back to 284 News.
Thank you so much, Ron.
Absolutely. Dr. Vanterpool, once again, for those who may not be aware, tell me a little bit in short form the role of the Virgin Islands Communal Association.
Yes, so the role of the Virgin Islands Communal Association is simply to engage in the preservation of our cultural heritage, our traditions, and to ensure that our cultural identity is maintained and preserved. And we do this through a number of initiatives, including and they're basically community-based initiatives. And we're planning a very important one that comes up on this Saturday coming. And
so that is an old-time Christmas, am I correct?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes. So with that, our hope is that we're going to put on display the traditional Virgin Islands Christmas and bring that feel, that sense, that camaraderie, and the whole. We're going to relive it on Saturday coming. And we're excited about it, and we hope that the general public and everyone can come out and enjoy it. And it's going to be a wonderful time.
Wonderful. Now, the event will be held, viewers, at the Elmore Stout High School, on the grounds of the Elmore Stout High School. That's the L-shaped building here in Road Town. Tell us when the event starts, and is there a cost associated with it?
Yes. It starts at 3 p.m. sharp, and of course, the admission is free. Always good, always good.
Wonderful,
so.
Great. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect. Who can we expect to see? What are the different contributions culturally for persons who may not know much about a BVI Christmas?
Great. What we're going to do is we're trying to really get into character and get persons to feel exactly what persons felt at that particular time. So we're going to build a house, and then we're going to demonstrate where carolers are actually coming, and we're doing the same things that we were doing several years ago. We're going to have traditional foods that are typical for this time of the year, guavarian tart and whatever traditional foods that we are accustomed to. We're going to have things like goat head soup, fish soup for sale and for sampling. Okay. We're going to have several vendors that are going to be having traditional things on sale, cassava bread, what we call bang bang, or we're going to have pan bread, or,
okay,
you know, so we're going to have quite a few things for you. And in terms of entertainment, not only caroling, but we're going to have games, traditional games, marbles and hopscotch and those type of things. So we want, it's an event for the whole entire family, and we want to see as many persons come out and enjoy themselves and sort of relive where we were traditionally.
Wonderful. Dr. Vanterpool, as a Virgin Islander yourself, what is one of the most enjoyable parts of a BVI Christmas for you personally?
I think BVI Christmas, like Christmas in most other countries, revolves around food and family and good, clean fun. And I always look forward to those parts of the Christmas season. And I've been in a caroling group for several years, and that's probably a highlight for me personally. So it's not Christmas until I hear someone singing carols at my front door. That kind of
wonderful
brings it home for me.
Amazing. Well, Dr. Vanterpool, again, thank you so much for your time. Viewers, you can participate and be a part of this wonderful event being hosted by the Virgin Islands Communal Association this Saturday, beginning at 3 p.m. on the grounds of the Elmore Stout High School L-shaped building here in Road Town. It's an old-time Christmas, BVI style. We invite you to celebrate family, food, and fellowship. We're going to take a quick commercial break of yours, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
son.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, Ron, that was a very enlightening interview with Dr. Vanterpool. I heard him mention quite a number of things that is signature to a true VI Christmas. But the main thing, guava tat, Ron.
Absolutely.
He did not mention guava tat.
Well, he didn't, but I think he just missed that one by accident.
No, and I'm a little disappointed because guava tart is the best tart, right?
Most definitely.
All right, viewers, we're going to head on to our regional news for today. Now, an interventional neurologist on St. Croix and an infectious disease physician on St. Thomas were among the clinical care staff in the Virgin Islands to first receive the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine recently authorized by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Now, according to the Department of Health, minutes after the vaccine shipment was delivered from the Department of Health by the Virgin Islands National Guard, registered nurse Hope Bagley delivered the first shot to Dr. John Tawakal, of Pleasant Healthcare on St. Croix. Now, members of the Pleasant staff also received the vaccine at their urgent care office. Now, on St. Thomas, registered nurse Bernice Wade of the Schneider Regional Medical Center delivered the first shot to the Department of Health's medical director, Dr. Ty Hunt Caesar. Now, Hunt Caesar, who is known for being an advocate for vaccinations, was reportedly ecstatic about being the first to receive the vaccine in St. Thomas, St. John. The St. Thomas, St. John district. Sorry. Now, viewers, the historic moment was live streamed on Facebook. So if you missed it, let's watch.
First COVID vaccine in the St. Thomas, St. John district. Dr. Ty Hunt Caesar, infectious disease physician extraordinaire, medical director of Department of Health.
Wow, that was painless.
Now, nurse practitioners, epidemiologists, registered nurses, and other healthcare staff were among the Virgin Islanders to receive the vaccine on the first day of its availability. In a statement from the Department of Health, Dr. Tawakol said, and I quote, "By vaccination, I think it's very important we realize what tool we have in our hands, and all of us take that step to stop this virus," end of quote. Now, Tuesday, of course, which is last Tuesday, 975 doses of the vaccine arrived on St. Croix and have allowed providers to start the first part of the phase of vaccinations throughout the territory. This phase includes clinical healthcare staff and residents and staff in long-term care facilities. Now, as more vaccines are ordered and delivered on a weekly basis, first responders, persons with immunocompromised conditions, and the 65 and older population will definitely be next in line. The vaccine will not only be widely available for some time, so the vaccine will not be widely available for some time, so the health department is urging everyone to keep their guard up and, of course, to adhere to guidelines and best practices to reduce the spread of COVID-19. That includes practicing good hand hygiene, maintaining physical distance from persons outside of your household, and avoiding non-essential travel, and of course staying home when you feel sick. Ron, of course, we love to cover what's happening in the U.S. Virgin Islands simply because we're so closely knitted, but also it's almost like a ripple effect when it comes to COVID-19. The vaccine has arrived in the USVI. Clearly, we see the first shots being administered. So it's a really good thing. But I like the end of the story, reiterating that because even though the vaccine is there are no guarantees that it will get to the persons who might need it the most. So clearly, there's a line being established, medical professionals, the older generation, to ensure the persons who are more high risk, they get the vaccines first. But Governor Bryan recently also reiterating the need for us to continue to be vigilant simply because you just never know what can happen. So we see him shutting the bars down. I think on December 25th, nightclubs will be closed, on December 25th. And by the 27th, all bars territory-wide will be closed for the holiday season. Of course, in staying vigilant against this virus.
Jovan, one of the important things, like Governor Bryan stated about being vigilant, is the general public should be informed that not because the vaccine is becoming available means that they too have to lower their guard. Again, it's on a needs basis, but we don't want persons to become so lax or complacent that they think because there's a vaccine out and because we here as well are expecting to receive some as well, that means that they can relax. It still requires us all to be vigilant.
When we listen to the experts, Ron, especially the epidemiologists worldwide, one of the things they are echoing is the fact that COVID-19 might be around for the next 5 years. So we really have to condition in our minds, unfortunately, how to adapt to this new way of living. And that requires us abiding by all the necessary health protocols.
Now continuing on the regional scene as well, out of Hamilton, Bermuda, Renaya Laghi, Bermuda's first black and female governor, was sworn into office on Monday, December 14, 2020, during a closed ceremony at the government house. Now, Laghi, who arrived from Britain on Sunday, said, and I quote, "It is a privilege to have begun my service as governor of Bermuda. My family and I look forward to settling into Bermudan life." The appointment was announced in June by Queen Elizabeth II. Premier David Burt, Chief Justice Narinder Hargan, and Cabinet Secretary Mark Tamlakik attended the swearing-in ceremony as Bermuda grapples with, of course, a sudden surge in COVID-19 cases. Again, it was a closed private ceremony at the government house. A government spokeswoman said, and I quote, "All necessary health guidelines and precautions were observed at the event." Now, the spokeswoman said a public ceremony to mark the arrival of the new governor would be held next year when conditions become a bit more safe to do so. Now, Laghi replaced John G. Ranking, a Scotsman who has left to take up a similar post, of course, here in the British Virgin Islands. He is expected to be our governor come January, early in 2021, and we continue to wait on his arrival, but also very historic, the first black and first female governor of Bermuda. Pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Very telling as well, Ron, when we think about how this will change the trajectory of that, you said it's Bermuda, right? Of Bermuda's cultural as well as their historical, when you think about it, it really is telling. And I love that she's a woman as well. We're very proud of the women empowerment across the region. But I love this story because in addition to all those great things, it instills a sense of pride. It brings me back to the post of police commissioner in the BVI and the local public really pushing for a local person to be, of course, to take up that position. And just today, breaking news that our police commissioner, Mr. Michael Matthews, he has been actually replaced by a representative from the United Kingdom. That person will take up that post in February when Mr. Michael Matthews' post ends. But Ron, when these things happen, it really speaks to who we are as a people and also our capabilities as a people. So we have to continue to push to ensure that those spaces are made available for the people of the Virgin Islands.
I agree. And similar to our conversation, this was a conversation in the House of Assembly recently where many of our elected officials, namely the Honorable Kai Reimer, spoke heavily on the fact that we have a lot of persons in the territory, in the civil service of the Virgin Islands, continuously acting for a number of years in positions which he deemed to be quite unfair, that they're not being given their rightful opportunity to serve and confirmed in a variety of different posts. So this is something we also have to look at when we look at instilling local ingenuity and pride and making sure that Virgin Islanders feel worthy to hold these posts. I think it's important that we consider and bear this in mind.
And we have to challenge those structures, Ron. And I'm glad the leaders are speaking because really that's where the energy has to start. And that's kind of how it trickles down to the rest of the structures. I'm really happy to see us speaking out against it because, again, there are many capable and qualified persons right here in the BVI to take up those posts and, of course, to function very effectively. Viewers, that is all the time we have. But before we go, we just want to first of all, thank you so much for always sticking with us every day. We really do value your support. It's been quite a long year, a challenging year for so many of us, and we're just grateful that you continue to look for us for honest and impartial news right here on 284 News, but also encouraging you to check us out on our website. That is 284media.com. If you missed our Christmas bonanza for today, we were over at CTL. So check that out as well. It's via our Facebook page, 284 Media. We're also on Instagram and Twitter at 284BVI. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. It is always an absolute pleasure to bring you our daily local, regional, and international happenings. Have a terrific Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.